Hey guys, my name is Hap and this is the Löwe, the Tier 8 moneymaker, the Tier 8 German heavy. This tank needs no introduction. Most of you probably know the tank and many of you have likely played it at least once. It has been sold numerous times and will be sold many times a year in bargain deals. Let me get this out of the way. This is my #1 credit grinding tank. It's really hard to lose credits in it no matter what you do with it. It's also why I have over 1,000 battles in it. If you dedicate yourself to the ways of the grind, you can easily get several million a day. But credit making isn't the only reason that people play it. Let me tell you why. The gun is absolutely incredible, and well, you might say, but it's German, of course it's great. But that is not the case for some German tanks, like the Bolsig. Back to the Löwe, the gun is just a standard 105mm, but it has great penetration all around, an 8.5-second reload, and the accuracy just bellissimo bueno. Every time I am frustrated with a tank's gun, I come back to the Löwe to get myself a few rounds of peace. You would have to be going out of your way to miss shots. I am also, however, running the refined gun. That gives me a very pleasant 0.269 dispersion. You also have 8 degrees of gun depression topping the package, so there's absolutely no issues whatsoever. That's my favorite part of the tank, it's why I play it so often. The armor is somewhat worse. I remember the days when it was more challenging to bounce in it since, well, it had far less armor. Since those days, the armor has been buffed, but you should still be aware of some things. While the frontal armor is nice, there are some weak spots. So let's start with the lower plate. It has a small strip connecting the actual lower plate to the upper plate, and that part is hardly 150mm thick. However, not many people actually know about that part, and they aim for the lower plate itself, which at around 180mm isn't exactly too weak. Tier 7s will struggle, but Tier 8s mostly won't. The turret itself also has a few weak spots. There's the cupola that not many people bother aiming at since it's quite small. The second pair of weak spots on the turret are the cheeks, and those have very varying thickness, but the small strips right next to the mantlet have hardly 130mm of armor. Not great, but not many people actually fire at them. Granted, some people have the knowledge of those weak points, and they will be able to go through without any issues. So what to do with the armor then? Well, I have 3 tips. The first one is to angle, the second one is to angle, and the third one, yeah, get this, is to angle. Well, I mean, it ain't that easy to master the armor profile. If you can, hide your lower plate, as that is your most prominent weak spot. Side scraping is also viable, but you should pay close attention to your angles, as the sides aren't that forgiving. And well, with the turret, there isn't much you can do. Use your gun depression whenever you can. The mobility is where the tank is pretty usually mocked. 35 kph is not bad by any means. After all, the tank weighs over 92 tons, which makes it a great ramming tank, by the way. But the fact it can hardly hit that top speed due to its terrible power-to-weight ratio doesn't really help it. It has the worst power-to-weight ratio of every single Tier 8 heavy. And well, you'll have to find that out by yourself. It's not easy to determine the sluggishness of this tank from just a replay. So let's talk equipment. I used a gun rammer, improved modules, though the argument for the defense system can be made, and optics. I then used the gun link drive, improved assembly, and the engine accelerator to help out the horrible power-to-weight ratio. You might have noticed I used the improved traverse before this. I then used the refined gun, toolbox, and consumable delivery system, since you won't be firing that often to justify the longer cooldown. Ammo loadouts and consumable loadouts vary from player to another player, so I'll let you decide on that one. But for provisions, you should use double rations and improved fuel. You'll still be making cash, don't worry. So let's talk about the pros and cons then. The pros, well, it has a great, amazing gun. It has pretty good armor, and it has a workable armor profile, and most important of all, it's an effective credit grinder. The cons? It has terrible mobility, and the playstyle gets, well, stale after a few hundred battles. What I mean by that is that it simply gets boring, so I have to take breaks between playing it. Mostly a few weeks. So, what's my verdict on the Löwe? Well, if you don't have one, get one. But at least wait for a sale, or for the tank to pop up in the store for like 5k gold. The fact I've been using it for over 3 years should tell you all you need about the tank. It's reliable, and it's part of the OG Blitz crew alongside the Type 59 and Super Pershing. And well, if we want to talk more about alternatives, the Super Pershing is one of them. It has a different playstyle and more prominent weak spots in the War's gun, but it earns slightly more credits. And without further ado, let's take a look at some replays. They're homemade.
Alright, recording attempt number 7, and this time it's in Audacity because I have absolutely lost all of my patience with Windows 10 trying to absolutely mute everything in Sony Vegas. Because Windows 10 has the, well, random occurrences of randomly deciding that Sony Vegas, a audio recording program and video editing program, should not record my audio, so it tries to kill it sometimes, so that results in some pretty wacky corruptions that I won't play, because I want you to still have your ears intact. So, well, other than that, I have also been having replay issues because the second replay that I wanted to put into this video has decided to corrupt itself, so unfortunately this one will have to do. Thankfully it's still an example of some hard tech and justice and some hard tech and gameplay. So I hope you're gonna be at least entertained a little bit with that one. It also shows a tiny bit about how you should play the tank, but unfortunately I am not really gonna talk about how you should play the tank, as I believe I have already kind of mentioned that in the first part of this video. So I am instead going to use the time that this replay provided me to talk about like personal stuff, what I've been doing, what I'm planning to do, and if there are gonna be any changes following up after September. So, where have I been? Well, simple, I have been working all day, at least for a proper 2 weeks by now. I am absolutely swamped with work, I have took on extra shifts to get myself extra cash, and I am gonna use most of this cash to invest into a completely new audio setup, which is arriving in August, and, get this, an entirely new laptop that's arriving in September. Now, I unfortunately have very high laptop standards, so, well, it's gonna have to be one hell of an upgrade. I am trying to aim for a GTX 1070 mounted laptop, but if that won't happen due to monetary issues, I am gonna settle for a 1650 Ti, because those seem to be oddly cheap these days. Anyways, that's why I'm working so hard. I have also been like trying to work a little bit extra to get myself some extra stuff for tanks so that I can review more special, interesting, hot new stuff for you. Because, well, my current student's income of $1 a month doesn't exactly, permit that. So I'm kind of really thankful that those people who have been tossing gifts at me from like tanks to gold to PayPal cash on streams and etc. have been this kind to me, because that really allows me to get some new content for this channel. And well, yeah. After September, some stuff is gonna change. Some stuff is gonna change alright, because I am going to university. I am going to become a teacher. A bit crazy, I know. Maybe a bit, well, rash. Maybe a little brash decision. Maybe a little rushed. I don't care, because I have absolutely no idea what would I work at next. So, the teacher it is. So, my bachelor's degree studies will take me at least 3 years, and I'll still have to get my master's degree, which will take another 2 years. And I hope I'm not gonna decide to get a PhD after that, because that would take me, well, another 2.5. So, you can really expect content to kind of slow down during these months, because I'm going to be really busy living at dorms, which probably wouldn't allow me to record any content, and then I would be also busy with, well, house stuff, because I would be always coming back like for 1 or 2 days a week just to visit my family, have a hot dog, pet the dog, and then go back to school. So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to destroying my sleeping schedule, don't worry. But, well, that's kind of it for like personal stuff, so let's go back to the Löwe. Would I still recommend the Löwe after all of these premium tanks have been added, after all of these new meta tanks have been added, and well, after all of these other tanks have suddenly gotten these bargain deal prices? Yes, I still would, because the Löwe is still a really good tank. I'm kind of surprised at how good it is, because it seems to have been replacing still most of the tier 8 premiums that I would have played otherwise. I kind of actually don't play the M4 Ravioli that much anymore, because I just keep playing the Löwe every time I just want to have some bit of fun. And that, and well, the gun is just absolutely incredible. If you want a premium that's reliable, so you know, the kind of thing that you mostly invest in a premium for, then this is one of them. Granted, the mobility isn't reliable at all, but everything else is rock solid. You're absolutely gonna like it if you spend a little time on it. The last time it arrived, it was sold for 12 or 13 euro, which is kind of a pretty good deal, I would say. And well, with the entire package added on top of that too. Legendary camo, full equipment, a garage slot, some random avatar, I guess, and a bit of premium time. What's not to like about that? So, I kind of think that, honestly, at prices like this, there is no reason that you shouldn't buy a Löwe. Like, it's really hard to explain, like, so many people have the Löwe that you would be thinking that, well, some people may like think that it's, you know, actually worth getting. But some people are actually kind of afraid of it because its mobility is kind of laughed upon. And I would say, after all of these tanks have been added, that the Löwe still has definitely good enough mobility. It has issues getting to its top speed, definitely, absolutely. No, it has definitely problems doing that. But other than that, I believe that there is no reason you shouldn't buy one of these. It's an absolutely incredible tank that is gonna last you quite some time, and I really hope that you're gonna like it. And well, with that, we're actually nearing the end of our video. So that has been it from me. My name is Ham. If you somehow like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, whatever, whatever, and I'll catch you guys later. The next one coming is hopefully the Thunder. Hopefully not in December. So that has been it from me, and have a good night.